Hello everyone, welcome to Bicycle Touring Talk. My name is George Schlacek.
The one and only.
Traveling by bicycle has been my passion for a very long time. I created this series in order to share the stories and hopefully get others excited about touring on a bike. Of course, in a world full of automobiles, it's almost always necessary to put some kind of disclaimer in front of a video about an extended tour on a bicycle, and this one is no exception. Bicycle touring isn't exactly safe. Every so often, a cyclist gets bumped, or even knocked out of this world by some driver who should have paid more attention. With this out of the way, let's get into the story. This is episode 132, part of the Colombia series. Barbara and I toured in Colombia first in 2019 and again in 2020. In the previous episode, you could see us reaching the city of Barrancabermeja. This was on January 19th, 2019. It was slightly out of our way on our journey toward Santa Marta, but this was an interesting place. And we were due for a true rest day. Thanks to a local cyclist, we ended up at an exceptional hotel where we felt treated like royalty. It's called Hotel Rio Grande, and it far exceeded our expectations. After taking a nap in our air-conditioned room, we still went out to eat and explore the surroundings. I had honestly never heard of Barrancabermeja before this trip, and it took some practice to be able to pronounce the name. Barrancabermeja is also known as the oil capital of Colombia, being home to the largest oil refinery in the country. The city was founded in 1922 and it's home to about 200,000 inhabitants. You can say what you will about the oil industry, but it's created real wealth in this area, as you could see all around. The infrastructure looks modern and well kept. There are parks here where people hang out in the evening when it's most comfortable outside, and it's a very welcoming place. We spent our rest day pretty much doing what the name suggests. So we didn't go exploring too much except for around the direct neighborhood of our hotel. We had a complimentary breakfast right across the street at a restaurant, and then spent some time surfing the internet at our hotel while enjoying the complimentary coffee and cold juices. Later, we walked around town and searched for a late lunch and found a restaurant that was serving real buffalo burger for a great price. Our restaurant here.
Okay.
That's the buffalo place. Buffalo House. We're not sure if they have buffalo meat in there, but they'll have something.
Coconut. This is coconut lime to die for. This is kind of like roll your eye tilting experience.
This was completely unexpected, and those burgers were amazing. The rest of the day, we were aimlessly wandering around the neighborhood, just enjoying the hot weather and the change of being in a real city. Just taking a stroll after our late lunch, and it's a beautiful day. It's only about 36 degrees.
Only?
Feels like, hell, I couldn't say that it feels any different than 25 or 30.
No,
It's quite comfortable here.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Drogeria Alemania, or Alemana, it's called the German drugstore. See, and it's got a German flag in the logo. Should we have spent more time in Barrancabermeja? Probably. It's an interesting place and we didn't really get to see a lot of it besides a few streets and the large park near our hotel. But we were still almost 600 kilometers away from Santa Marta. Our big goal was to reach the ocean and enjoy the beaches there for an extended period. So we left the next day, January 21st to be precise. As we had become accustomed to, we got up early and left early. It meant skipping the complimentary breakfast because the restaurant wasn't open yet. We were in a very hot part of Colombia and riding our bikes was much more comfortable early in the morning. We had coffee and a quick snack before leaving and then rode for quite a while before we stopped for a real breakfast. The ride was challenging due to many construction zones. The highway, number 66, was in the process of being twinned.
Now we're on Route 66 and we're waiting to see the intersection of Route 45, so that we can continue going north toward the Atlantic.
We had to get back to Route 45 North, which seemed a lot further east from the city than we had expected. Traffic was crazy busy at times. Route 66 goes to Bucaramanga, another city that would have been worth visiting, but a bit too far out of our way. It was a relief when we finally reached the highway going north.
Yeah, we're finally going north again. Probably make it to Canada in a few months.
The road now had just 2 lanes, but mostly with a pretty good shoulder to ride our bikes in relative safety. Even with trucks passing us constantly, it seemed like drivers were looking out for us, except for a few crazy ones who passed really close, going into the opposite direction from us. The road wasn't exactly flat, but the hills were long and subtle. We saw a lot of palm tree plantations, which kind of look nice, but they're monocultures that have displaced the jungle that used to grow here. But hey, I'm not really sure if they're any worse than the miles and miles of corn, wheat, and canola fields we have in Canada, though. We rode about 53 kilometers that day and ended up at a roadside truck stop hotel with restaurant. Once again, we got a fairly decent room with air conditioning, flat screen TV, and Wi-Fi. And all that for a fraction of what we had paid in the city. But there really wasn't much to see here other than the truck garage across the dusty lot. We were able to relax in our air-conditioned room before supper, which was a simple, typical Colombian meal, including caldo, the simple beef bone soup we had come to appreciate for hydration. As much as we didn't like the truck traffic on the road, I have to admit that without the truckers, those simple, inexpensive hotels probably wouldn't even exist. So there's the silver lining. After dark, we were able to do a bit of route planning. The next destination was probably gonna be San Alberto, about 60 kilometers away. This was also the point where another highway coming from Bucaramanga would merge with ours, which could mean even more traffic. Once again, we set the alarm for 5 a.m., hoping to get most of the riding done before it got too hot. I'll tell you all about that part of the trip in the next episode. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Perhaps you're curious about touring Colombia yourself, and this glimpse can give you an idea of what to expect. You can find other videos in this series by clicking on the playlist right here. Check it out in case you've just discovered the series. The trip started in Bogota a few weeks prior. As usual, I'd like you to hit the like button. I'd like you to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Doo-hoo!